Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Troy Clayton, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Warrant Officer Class 1, Joanne Davey. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. We also acknowledge the members of the RSL Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria, and RSL Queensland, who are watching this ceremony broadcast across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private James Henry Webb. James Webb was born in 1893 in Mildura, Victoria, one of 5 children born to William and Catherine Webb. He received his education at the Mildura State School and afterwards took up work with a printing office in his hometown. Webb was 23 years old when he enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 1st of April 1916. Assigned to the 60th Battalion, he embarked from Melbourne aboard the troop ship Orsova in August that year. Private Webb reached England in September and spent time training before leaving for France in December. After joining his unit in the front lines in February, Webb became ill with influenza, which necessitated a long stay in hospital. After a few days in a rest camp, he rejoined his battalion in the front lines in August 1917. Webb's first major action with his unit took place around the Ypres sector in Belgium during the Battle of Polygon Wood in September. Polygon Wood was a significant landmark on the Ypres salient and an essential part of Allied attempts to take Passchendaele Ridge. By 1917, the wood had been reduced to burnt stumps. German forces had fortified the area with concrete blockhouses, barbed wire, and an observation post, making Polygon Wood a treacherous target for the advancing troops. The attack was launched on the 26th of September. Despite heavy resistance, Allied troops were able to secure their objectives and consolidate the line within days. The success was not, however, without cost. Fighting continued until early October, with some 20,000 men killed or wounded. Following the battle, the 60th Battalion continued to serve in the area. Private Webb was sleeping in a dugout with his mate on the 10th of October when their positions came under artillery fire. A shell exploded nearby, killing Webb and his comrade instantly. One of Jim's comrades wrote to his mother in Bendigo. The shell hit the end of the dugout and Jim was hit in the head and killed instantly. I know this letter isn't very comforting, but knowing what a brave mother you are, and I thought it best to tell you just what happened. Jim had previously proved himself a good soldier and has been the good old chap he always was at home. I'm glad to say he didn't have to suffer as some of our boys do before they leave us. Hoping that you and yours will bear up bravely under this great loss. Private Webb's former employer in Mildura paid tribute to the young soldier after his death, saying, "In life I respected you, Jim Webb. In death I envy you, for indeed he who gives his life for country and righteous cause is to be envied. One feels very human as one sits in the offices that will now know you no more, save in memory. And if one's eyes grow a bit misty and one's throat's a bit choky, well, you are a good lad and a good man, Jim Webb, and God rest you where you've gone and comfort your folk." Private James Webb was laid to rest near where he fell at Passchendaele, New British Cemetery in Belgium. He was 25 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private James Henry Webb, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning we will remember them. Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We'd like to thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.